This is part 2 of Cambridge IGCSE Control and Coordination. Accommodation is another reflex should not be confused with the iris reflex. It is a changing of the shape of the lens in order to focus on objects which are at different distances from the eye. When the distance between an object and your eye is large, for example, looking at a tiger in a forest which is far away from you, the light rays from the tiger are diverging only very slightly. Therefore, the suspensory ligaments are pulled tight. The ciliary muscle of the lens relaxes and the lens is pulled thin. The rays meet directly at the retina and not before it. It is thin, meaning its power of convergence is lower. When the distance is small, the exactly opposite happens because the light rays are diverging greatly. Suspensory ligaments slacken, ciliary muscle contracts, and the lens bulges, becomes more convex, so the power of convergence increases. Light rays meet at the retina, not after it. Now let's talk about chemical coordination, which is a much slower method, however very important in all organisms that have it. The chemicals produced by a ductless endocrine gland directly into the bloodstream. They alter the activity of specific target organs in response to a change in the environment. The adrenal gland is an endocrine gland which secretes adrenaline, which initiates the fight or flight response. When you see a tiger in the distance, the adrenal gland will immediately secrete adrenaline, bring about actions which will help you survive. Either start fighting or run away. Pancreas secretes two hormones, insulin and glucagon, which check the blood glucose concentration. Testes and ovary are endocrine reproductive glands secreting testosterone and estrogen progesterone respectively. They develop the male and female secondary sexual characteristics and estrogen and progesterone control of the menstrual cycle in females. Adrenaline, when it is released into the blood, it reaches the heart and stimulates it to beat faster, so the heart rate increases, so that O2 is supplied to brain and muscles more quickly. Muscles in the lungs are stimulated to contract faster, increasing the rate and also the depth of breathing, so more oxygen enters the blood for respiration at a greater rate to release more amounts of energy. The pupils are widened to allow us to see more clearly. Whatever is causing this response, more light will enter. Liver cells are stimulated to release more glucose in the blood, so muscle cells can even more quickly respire with the extra oxygen that is being released, and this increases the overall metabolic activity. What about plants? They too have hormones which allow tropic movements, which are basically growth responses in which the direction of growth relates to the direction of the stimulus. Phototropism, basically the stimulus is light and shoots grow towards it and roots usually grow away from it, meaning shoots are positively phototropic and roots are negatively phototropic. Gravitropism, shoots are growing away from the pull of gravity, moving upwards, so they are negatively gravitropic. Roots are growing towards it and are positively gravitropic. Leaves present on shoots have to receive most amount of light energy to maximize the rate of photosynthesis. Flowers also on the shoots have to be held up where wind or insects can pollinate them. Therefore, shoots grow above the ground. Roots have to grow downwards so that they can anchor the plant in the soil and are able to absorb water and mineral ions from between the soil particles. Experiments are done to prove this. For shoots, we can take 6 peas beans, keep them in a warm place so they germinate. Dish A may be a light-proof box with a slit on one side. Dish B is kept in the light and is turned regularly so that each seedling is receiving the same amount of light. This dish is a control experiment. Dish C is a complete light-proof box so no light can enter. The observations are, in A, seedlings will grow, but they bend towards the direction they are receiving light from. In B, seedlings grew normally upwards because the light is uniform. In C, there was no growth because of the absence of light. From this, we can conclude that shoots are positively phototropic. For this experiment, we can keep two pots in a place which has no light. So the light stimulus is not affecting this. Pot A is lying on one side and B is standing straight. The observations are that in A, the shoot bent away from the ground, bending upwards. In B, shoot grew upwards. So in A, actually the difference was that it should have been growing longitudinally if gravity didn't affect it. But because shoots are negatively gravitropic, it bent away from the ground. Now for roots, their responses to gravity, we can arrange 3 to 4 bean seedlings, put them in different positions in a jar on a moist paper. The place should be dark and we should allow roots to grow. Irrespective of their position, each will grow downwards, and we can conclude from this that roots are positively gravitropic. In response to light, we can pin soaked bean seeds onto a blotting paper and in containers A and B, each in different positions. We can cover both with a hole on one side. Container A is put onto a clinostat, which is basically a rotating turntable, and no change to the dish B has been done. We can observe that in A, roots grew bending away from the light, and in B, they did not grow either away or towards the light. We can conclude that roots are negatively phototropic. However, it is crucial to note that it is unlikely to notice any considerable change in the growth of roots in the second investigation, because usually roots are not affected by light. Now, auxin is one of the many plant hormones and is responsible for the tropic movements. It is made in the tips of the shoot and causes cells to elongate. When the light is even and uniform, auxin is made in the tip, diffuses evenly down the shoot, and the shoot grows straight up. It is receiving equal amounts of light from all the sides. When the light is unidirectional, auxin will concentrate on the side which is receiving lower amount of light and causing the cells on the shady side to elongate faster than that side which is receiving more amount of light. Thus, the shoot will bend towards the light as it will be growing. In negative gravitropism, when the shoot is placed on its side, auxin will concentrate on the lower side of the shoot, causing cells here to elongate faster than those on the upper surface of the side. So as the shoot will grow, it will bend upwards away from gravity. Thank you.